In 1972, NASA's final Apollo mission, Apollo 18, was abruptly cancelled, or so the world was told. But leaked footage and hidden transmissions suggest otherwise. Deep beneath the moon's silent surface, astronauts may have uncovered something humanity was never meant to see, a message not written by man. This is the chilling story of what really happened on that secret mission to the moon. In the early 1970s, the Apollo program was nearing its end. Public interest was fading, budgets were cut, and NASA announced the cancellation of Apollo missions 18, 19, and 20. But deep within the corridors of the U.S. government, whispers spoke of a final, unrecorded launch, one that would never be revealed to the public. Apollo 18, according to the few leaked documents that survived, wasn't just another scientific expedition. It was a covert operation, orchestrated by a small circle of military officials and scientists, tasked with investigating something the earlier missions had unintentionally discovered. Photographs from Apollo 15 and 16 had shown strange geometric patterns on the moon's far side, patterns too symmetrical to be natural. At first, they were dismissed as imaging errors, until one image captured something unmistakable, an artificial structure half buried in the lunar dust. The astronauts selected for Apollo 18 were told this mission was about geological sampling. In reality, they were to land near the coordinates of that mysterious site. Records suggest the launch occurred quietly at night, disguised as a routine military operation. Unlike previous missions broadcast worldwide, this one was kept completely off the books. When the spacecraft reached lunar orbit, the crew reported unusual interference in their communication systems, static waves that pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. They descended to the surface under radio silence, guided by manual navigation and instinct. What they found on the ground was beyond their training, a massive metallic structure protruding from the crater wall, its surface engraved with markings that shimmered faintly, even in the absence of light. The men began their inspection, unaware that the symbols they were about to decode would challenge the entire history of human civilization. But before they could transmit any findings, Mission Control abruptly lost contact. Every signal vanished. For 48 hours, Apollo 18 was gone. When a weak transmission finally returned, it carried only static and a single line of data that no one could explain. The data wasn't just noise, it was a message. And it wasn't written in any human language. The moment the Apollo 18 transmission reached Earth, panic rippled through the hidden control room. The frequency pattern embedded within the static was unlike anything NASA had encountered before. It wasn't random, it carried mathematical precision, repeating in harmonic intervals that mirrored the Fibonacci sequence. To the untrained eye, it was just noise. But to the few scientists who analyzed it in secret, it was unmistakably artificial and intelligent. Every trace of the mission was immediately classified under the highest level of secrecy. The official record stated that Apollo 18 was canceled due to budgetary cuts. But deep within military archives, the true data was stored under a codename, Project Silent Moon. The encrypted message from the transmission was sealed away, only accessible to those with top clearance. Meanwhile, the families of the astronauts were told their loved ones died in a training accident. No funerals were allowed, and no remains were ever returned. The spacecraft, according to internal reports, had never re-entered Earth's atmosphere. Yet radar logs from the Air Force showed a brief, unidentified blip over the Pacific, as if something had entered the skies, lingered for seconds, and then disappeared. Years later, a declassified memo revealed what had been decoded from the Apollo 18 signal. Embedded within the frequency pattern was a visual code, a digital sequence that, when rendered, displayed a shape resembling the surface of the moon itself. But in the center of that map was something extraordinary, an unfamiliar symbol carved into a crater, glowing faintly in infrared scans. Further analysis revealed something even more unsettling. The same symbol had been found in ancient Sumerian tablets discovered in Iraq, dating back over 6,000 years. The Sumerians described gods who descended from the sky, bringing light and knowledge. The resemblance between the lunar symbol and those carved in the ancient stones was exact. The conclusion terrified the researchers. Whoever or whatever left that message on the moon had been watching humanity long before civilization began. By the 1980s, fragments of Apollo 18's black box recordings began to leak online, mysterious beeps, muffled breathing, and a faint mechanical hum that seemed to echo words. When analyzed through spectrograms, the audio revealed a hidden phrase in an unknown dialect. Linguists couldn't agree on what it said. But one translation appeared in a suppressed report. "We are waiting for you to return." By the dawn of the 21st century, whispers about Apollo 18 resurfaced as conspiracy theorists and ex-military whistleblowers began revealing fragments of a deeper truth. Satellite imagery showed strange shadows near the moon's far side, angular shapes that didn't match natural formations. NASA publicly dismissed them as artifacts of light and shadow. But within secret branches of intelligence, analysts noticed something else. The shadows had shifted between photographs taken decades apart. Whatever was there had moved. In 2009, a joint expedition between private contractors and a space agency under a new code name, Project Helios, launched an unmanned lunar probe to revisit the same coordinates. The craft's sensors detected faint electromagnetic pulses beneath the surface, consistent with active technology. As it descended, the feed abruptly cut off. The official explanation claimed solar interference, but internal records showed the probe's camera caught a single, haunting frame before blackout, a massive metallic structure, half buried in dust, shaped like an enormous archway leading into darkness. Inside government archives, the scientists who had once decoded the Apollo 18 message began connecting the pieces. The Fibonacci sequence, the Sumerian symbols, and the mysterious phrase, "We are waiting for you to return." They realized it was not a warning. It was an invitation. The message had been designed to activate once humanity reached a certain technological threshold, a signal meant to be understood only when the time was right. Meanwhile, beneath the Antarctic ice, researchers studying magnetic anomalies discovered the same symbol etched into bedrock miles below. Carbon dating suggested it predated human existence. The same pattern, the same energy readings. Somehow, the moon's hidden message and the symbols found on Earth were connected, as if both were part of a network built long before history began. Then, in 2017, amateur astronomers detected a repeating signal coming from the moon's far side. It pulsed every 27 hours, the same frequency as Apollo 18's lost transmission. But this time, it wasn't faint or buried in static. It was clear, rhythmic, and growing stronger. The world's governments quietly redirected satellites to monitor it, but publicly, they remained silent. Weeks later, a seismic event shook the lunar surface. The crater that once appeared lifeless began to glow faintly in visible light, not reflected sunlight, but illumination from within. Instruments recorded heat signatures rising from beneath, as though something vast had begun to stir. When infrared telescopes focused on the location, they captured the unmistakable outline of an immense structure emerging from the shadows, columns, doorways, geometric towers of alien design. And at its center, a shape, moving. Slowly. Deliberately. Across classified channels, analysts concluded what no one dared to say publicly: whatever had been sleeping under the moon had awakened. And then, the signal stopped. But hours later, radio observatories around the globe picked up the same pattern again, not from the moon, but from deep within Earth's atmosphere. It was the same voice, the same chilling phrase from the Apollo 18 recording, only this time, it was clearer than ever. "We are home."